We've been making YouTube videos on the Toasty Bros channel since 2014, and I have yet to see a product like the one we're talking about today get so much love from everyone in the tech creator space, yet still feel like it's flying under the radar to the average mainstream consumer. I am talking about the AYN Thor, and you probably already knew that when you clicked on this video. This handheld is absolutely adored in the handheld gaming space, and I've seen so many creators make multiple videos on this thing, talking about how it is the in-game of gaming handhelds. And as a PC gamer, why should you care? Well, the part that I think a lot of people don't know about this handheld is it's not just used for dual screen gaming like I so love as a Pokemon fan. It can play full-fledged PC games. Yes, as a PC gamer, this one definitely needs to get your attention if you have not heard of it, and we'll talk more about my 3-month experience with the AYN Thor, the good, the bad, and the kinda ugly experiences that I've had with this device, and why I really think this handheld is very special and hopefully the future of handhelds coming soon. We'll talk more about that after a word from today's sponsor.
If you spend all day at your desk like I do, editing videos, writing scripts, sending emails, or just bouncing between a million browser tabs, then your mouse is probably one of the most used pieces of gear on your setup. That's why I want to thank today's video sponsor, ProtoArc, and their EM11 Pro mouse. What makes this mouse different is that it's designed around improving your workflow, not just checking boxes on a spec sheet. The 58-degree ergonomic design puts your hand into a more natural handshake position, and is specifically shaped for large hands, making it much more comfortable during long work sessions. They also have the EM11 NL, which suits small to medium-sized hands. One feature I've found especially useful is the physical side scroll wheel. If you've ever scrubbed through a long Premiere timeline or had to navigate a massive spreadsheet, being able to scroll horizontally without dragging a tiny scroll bar is a surprisingly big quality of life improvement. I'm also a big fan about how the software is web-based. Instead of downloading a huge software suite just to remap buttons or set macros, you can do it right from your browser. No bulky software, no hassle. If you're looking for a mouse that's built to make long work sessions more comfortable and productive, be sure to check out the ProtoArc EM11 Pro using the links in the description down below. Big thanks to ProtoArc for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to it.
Now, what exactly is the AYN Thor? The AYN Thor is a dual screen handheld with a couple different configurations. The model I picked up is the Max model, which comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 octa-core CPU with an Adreno 740 GPU. It also has 1 terabyte of UFS 3.1 storage, basically flash storage, not a full-fledged SSD. It can be expanded with a micro SD card slot. It has 16 gigs of RAM and dual OLED displays, the top display being a 1080 by 1920 resolution at 120 Hz, 6 inches in size, and the bottom screen being a 1080 by 1240 resolution display at 60 Hz at a 3.92 inch size. Now, those dual screens are what make this handheld so perfect. The top one, again, being 120 Hz, makes it so you can play some games at high refresh rate, especially older games, and get that extra fluidity you normally wouldn't from the original devices they came from. And that bottom screen, while again works great in DS games, when you're not actively using the bottom screen in a dual screen game scenario, it is used as a kind of control center that allows you to change a bunch of different things about the AYN Thor. One being what refresh rate the display up top is running at. The other is changing the power profiles, the fan speed, and you can even do task switching, or you can even use the bottom screen to watch YouTube videos while you play games up top if you want to. I've seen some fun videos of people running Pokemon games on their top screen and running Pokemon shows on the bottom screen. Adds a little overkill and a little overstimulating for me, but you can definitely do that because they do operate as separate screens, and the software that they've done to make this happen is so seamless. We've seen some bad dual screen handhelds here on the YouTube channel that use some very jank software to get this up and running. I have not had any issues with this device, and it really does feel like you have 2 separate screens operating independently, which makes this a truly perfect dual screen device. Now, as I mentioned, I've had this handheld for a while, and I picked it up for $449 back in batch 4 because this handheld, again, is so in demand that there's multiple batch releases to even get your hand on this thing. And when I paid $449, I thought, hey, I'm spending a lot of money on a handheld right now. Well, if you look at current prices, the exact same one I got right here without the accessories bundle I got retails for $579 with current pre-orders. This thing is getting a little out of hand in terms of pricing, but please don't click away from the video just yet. I really do think this thing competes very nicely with other expensive handhelds on the market because, again, in the Ramageddon market we're in, all these handhelds are getting expensive, and this one I think will be better for most of you gamers out there that really don't play as many PC games on the go as you might think. And if you're going to pick it up for that price point of $579, you're going to buy directly from AYN and probably wait a couple months for it to arrive, or you can actually overpay and buy one from Best Buy apparently for over $600. I personally wouldn't do that, but if you really want to pull the trigger, you do have that option. And also AliExpress does sell this handheld, and when they're running their site-wide sales that happen a couple times a year, you can actually cash in on some good savings to pick this thing up. Enough about how to buy this handheld. Let me tell you more about it and why I do think it's a really cool piece of tech. This is an Android-based handheld coming with Android 13 out of the box. Now, the one glaring thing that I don't think enough creators are talking about is how much out of the box work you have to do with this handheld to get it up and running. This thing out of the box looks like an Android phone with 2 screens. It looks like a foldable phone because it literally is. It has Android running on both screens, and out of the box, you can't really do anything with it just yet. You don't have emulators, you don't have the ability to play PC games. You gotta follow guides to get this thing up and running. That is probably the biggest downside with this handheld, but I guess considering the target market of this, people who are really enthusiasts when it comes to this kind of product, it really makes a whole lot of sense that it does come bare bones. And in this video, I am not going to be showing you guys how to set that up because Retro Game Core has absolutely mastered this video. It's the exact video I followed. It is over an hour long. I think it's like an hour and a half long. We'll show the video on screen here. You can see the exact timestamp here, but this video is an absolute lifesaver. I took a weekend, unboxed my handheld, and set everything up from that video. And after watching that entire video, I felt much more comfortable with my handheld. Everything was working properly, and I was able to run a bunch of different games. Now, for those who don't want to watch the entire video, the spoiler is you're using an app container called Obtainium. It's an application that contains a bunch of emulators that you can find using the links on that video, and then you can install all the emulators directly to your handheld. Now, the biggest time-consuming thing at that point is mapping all the binds because these emulators kind of know what handheld they're going on. Some of them, like Melon DS, which we'll talk about in a second for DS games, knows it's going on a dual screen device because you can download the dual screen version, and then the mappings are not too difficult to deal with. But others, you do have to do some trickery to get Wii games working, or sometimes GameCube games. So I think that is the longest time consuming thing, and that is why I really recommend watching that YouTube video, because Retro Game Core goes ahead and gives you all the recommendations for what binds to bind to, and it makes it just that much easier to get out and running in gaming. Obviously with emulation, you're using ROMs, and again, that's a whole nother rabbit hole to dive down to. Do your research on ROMs and how to set something like this up. If you're not aware of how emulators work, definitely dive into some other videos first before investing into a handheld like this. I really do believe this is an ideal handheld for somebody who is mainly focused on emulation, and then the whole PC gaming thing is a little bit on the side. It's not absolutely perfect when it comes to the PC gaming side of things. Now, why did I, Matt from the Toasty Bros, fall in love with this handheld? Well, the reason is I absolutely adore Pokemon games. Pokemon games are my nostalgia, more specifically DS Pokemon games. We're talking Pokemon Pearl, we're talking Pokemon Platinum, and as of late, Pokemon Black 2, those are the ones I've been playing on this handheld. And every single time I want to play these games, I always have trouble finding the perfect device to play them. Yes, there's the native approach, but you know what prices are like right now when it comes to buying an actual DS and DS games, especially Pokemon games. Don't even get me started with that. But with the AYN Thor, after following the guides, again, I don't want to discredit the fact that I did follow guides to get this set up, this thing just works. Melon DS in dual screen mode running DS games just works, and the horsepower that I have in the Max version here allows me to upscale the games very nicely, and not only do they look great because of the upscaling that emulation can do, but you're running dual OLED displays playing older gen Pokemon games, which is absolutely peak. Don't even get me started about the state of Pokemon when it comes to Switch games. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but seeing the OG sprites in this kind of form factor on an OLED display on something that you can travel with you, for me, that is absolutely in-game peak, especially in the world of ROM hacks. There's a lot of videos out there on finding ROM hacks to really take Pokemon games to the next level. Renegade Platinum is a good recommendation. Now, most people obviously wouldn't spend $400+ on a handheld just to play Pokemon. There are some cheaper options on the market that will get the job done and play Pokemon games, but considering all the features and how it just works and everything just looks so premium for the gaming experience that I'm getting, I have no regrets. If I was using this for just Pokemon, it would be a worthwhile investment, but I'm not. I actually get even more value out of this handheld. For some context, the other handheld that I do use is the ROG Ally X, which I did install SteamOS on, and I've been using it for about 2 years or so. That handheld has been great for playing some PC games, and I've played some games on the couch with that handheld, and it works really well. But as of late, before this handheld showed up, I found myself just playing Pokemon games on an ROG Ally X, which Doesn't make a whole lot of sense with that single big screen. It isn't very practical, and I think it's incredibly overkill power-wise for that sort of device. That's a $1,000 handheld right there, and for me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And when I'm not playing a handheld game that I feel like makes a lot of sense on that device, or I'm not traveling, the ROG Ally X just sits on my dock and does not get a lot of use. Don't even get me started about my Switch 2. Very lucky that my wife is actually using that much more now with some games that have come to the market. The Switch 2, I tried Switch 2 Pokemon. Yeah, again, I already talked about that. Now, the reason you PC gamers are hopefully watching this video is the fact that this can run PC games, and it blew my mind when I learned that a device like this, an ARM-based device, can run PC games through Steam, from your Steam library, on this device. And I think it's voodoo magic that this works, but I don't think this is hyped up enough in the PC gaming space. How this works is through an app called Game Native, which is an open source compatibility layer that lets you run PC games directly on an Android device. It works by translating Windows/PC executable instructions into ARM-based code that works on a phone's chipset that the phone can understand, turning your phone into a portable gaming PC. All you have to do is sign into your Steam account, and then your library syncs up directly on your device. You then pick which games you want to install, and as you scroll through your game library, you will see games that are marked as compatible or will run based on the hardware that Game Native detects that you're running, and you can install those games and give them a go. Now, you're not going to be able to play absolutely everything. If you're going to mainly play PC games, a PC gaming handheld is much better, but for me, as I mentioned, someone who mainly plays retro games and wants to maybe dabble in a PC game here and there, maybe even just a lower end older PC game like Half-Life 2 or Hollow Knight or other sprite-based games that would normally be used on lower-end PCs or handhelds in general, you can launch them just fine on this device and get a playable experience. Don't expect to be playing Cyberpunk, Black Myth, Wukong, or anything super demanding, but the voodoo magic that makes it to where you can actually play these games and get Steam Cloud Sync support, which allows you to save your progress from your AYN Thor and go back to your gaming PC and pick up where you left off. It's crazy. This app is free, it's open source, and it's easy to install on any Android device, and it's just something that I really do feel like is kind of underrated in the space. But let me know down below if you're a PC gamer and you've heard of this and you've utilized it. It's really cool to see some of the apps out there that are allowing us to use our Steam games in other locations. Now, there's one thing I bet the AYN Thor users watching this video are already screaming at me in the comment section about is not having a launcher or a front end on my AYN Thor, and I have a bit of a hot take on that one. I don't necessarily think a front end is really necessary for enjoying this device. Now, the front ends, for those who are watching, have no idea what I'm talking about. You've probably seen the social media pictures of people posting their AYN Thor setups, where they have a really cool ecosystem setup where it looks like a custom-made console where all your emulators and apps are all in one place. So when you turn the device on, you're not looking at an Android desktop, you're looking at a launcher that allows you to pick your certain games you want to play with all the box art and everything ready to go, and you can launch into your games and get it up and running. That's the beauty of this device. You can spend a lot of time configuring this thing to work in that scenario, or you literally could just load up the emulators like I did, hit them on an app screen like Android, and they work just the same. It's not necessary, but it is a cool thing you can do, and it allows you to stand out in the community and also share with others in the community, because there's so many people in different forums and Reddit threads that talk about their different launcher setups, and there's some launchers you can pay for, some that are free like Cocoon. Cocoon is one that is, again, free and it's easy to set up, but for me, I've never felt the desire to actually go through the effort of getting it set up. This has just worked just fine for me. Let me know if there is a launcher or front end I should try in the comments down below, but really, I've been incredibly happy with it in this configuration, and something about the user interface is just fine for me. Now, this entire video has probably felt like me glazing the AYN Thor and that there's absolutely nothing wrong with this device. That's not necessarily true. There are definitely some problems with this device. The first thing I would have to say is the build quality. While it feels like a sturdy device, the outer shell, at least in the model that I have, which is the black version, they have a ton of different colors you can pick up as well, just feels cheap. Once you're actually using the device though, I will say, holding it in your hand, it does not feel cheap, but when you actually close this thing up, the outer shell just doesn't feel like a premium device you're paying for, especially with the prices going up and up and up. If I was going to spend $600 on this, it does kind of feel like a toy. So just a note for any future iterations, more invested into build quality and appearance on this device in the future wouldn't be a bad idea. And I had one issue when it comes to Wi-Fi on this device. Apparently, at least in the version I am running, it doesn't support MLO networks or Wi-Fi 7 networks. And what I mean by it not supporting it, it doesn't connect to Wi-Fi 7, but also whenever it tries to connect to a Wi-Fi 7 source, it'll just decide not to find any networks anymore. And I had to go through and manually disable my Wi-Fi 7 network on my TP-Link setup for it then to actually be able to discover Wi-Fi again. I was able to run it on a hotspot and it worked fine, but that was just a weird bug I dealt with and something that I would like to see updated in a firmware eventually so I can actually turn the MLO network back on at my home. Even though I don't use it very much, I don't have a ton of Wi-Fi 7 devices, I still would like to have it on because it just totally breaks the Wi-Fi on this device. But other than that, I haven't had any game-breaking bugs. Anything that I've played, they've ran really smooth. They've had no problems keeping up with demands. Again, I'm mainly playing 3DS and Nintendo DS games where I'm not really pushing the hardware to its absolute limits. So there are some scenarios if I was mainly playing PC games, specifically game native, I may have some more crashes and more issues and more bugs that other people have reported. But for my use case, this thing has been absolutely perfect. And in an era right now where PC gaming feels a little bit in despair, where everything is incredibly expensive, and honestly, you know what, not just PC gaming in general feels under attack right now by price increases. This thing is definitely not immune to it, but I feel like compared to all the devices I have reviewed here on this channel, and we have across multiple different videos on multiple different channels, this thing feels like it's actually worth the money, at least in my use case. It may not be for you. If you're not into emulation, you're probably not going to care about this device, and you're going to want to buy something else. But if you really care about emulation and had the same feelings I do about DS games, this thing is definitely a worthy investment, and I would highly suggest picking one up before the price increases happen again, because it's probably going to happen again, as sad as the market is right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different video. As you guys can tell, I'm at my home office right now filming this. I wanted to spend the weekend with this handheld, just getting a ton of B-roll shots and everything in my home office. So I figured, let's just film it at home here and just show you guys what it's all about. This is a little bit of a passion project for me because this device has really got me excited for the handheld space in general again. So I wanted to take my time with this project and put together a good video. So hopefully you appreciate the efforts and that the footage you see is very enjoyable to watch. And if you guys want to buy an AYN Thor yourself, I'll leave links to other places down below. They may be affiliate links and they will help us out. Let us know what you think of the AYN Thor down below. Are you considering picking one up? Do you already own one? What are some of your favorite things about the device? I want to hear everything you have to say about the AYN Thor in the comments down below. But as always, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out our other two YouTube channels, Toasty Clips and Toasty DIY, and our twitch.tv/ToastyBros, where we live stream every single morning and on Sundays when Jackson does the gaming stream. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the AYN Thor, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Now, on occasion, we get cool handhelds like the AYN Thor or an Ally X or Xbox Ally X for sale at PCBros.tech or PC Selling Business, or maybe you just want a normal gaming desktop. We got you covered there as well. Use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.